This story takes place in a universe far, far away. There was a group of fighters blessed by the god of boxing grew. Their names were Waspothegreat, African Gaming, Mr. Duck on Quackers, Edward, and Super Mexican Real. They were all training on a planet that had been stripped of life long ago, each fighter showing their fighting skills to one another. African Gaming was blessed with good DNA, which made his skin harden in response to physical trauma. Super Mexican had trained his footwork for years. He could move at speeds that surpassed even gods. Edward, while being the weakest one of the group, was still no laughing matter, able to crush a universe with just his eyeballs. Waspo the Great could make monsters with his 10 scuffed avatar style. Each had the power that even surpassed gods. Mr. Duck could move around any move or hit like he was made out of jelly, and throw the moves back with 10 times the force. As each fighter were training, a dark aura screamed through universe, killing everything that existed. But the few fighters were too strong for this weak move to kill any of them. Little did they know that the thing that used this move was just breathing. Then, out of the blue, a huge hand came out of a black hole that appeared next to Edward, hitting him through the planet they stood on, turning it into rubble. Then a figure crawled out of the black hole. African went to hit the monster, but before he could hit it, he was stopped by Super Mexican. He told African to calm down. If you tried to hit that thing, it would have killed you on the spot. The thing speaks and says its name is Obese Man-Eye, the only real god, the one who watches. The one who lives in the dark. He is fear, and he is what lies beyond fear. Mexican runs in at Obese Man-Eye, but when he is about to hit him, he gets sent into the ground. Waspo makes his first scuffed avatar, USG Hunk. USG Hunk and Mr. Duck run into fight, but Obese Man-Eye was able to block both their hits with one arm. African comes in with a punch, but Obese Man-Eye grabs his hand and throws him in the air, then throws USG Hunk at him, which makes USG Hunk turn to ash. Obese Man-Eye then hits Mr. Duck, but when he tries to make Obese Man-Eye hit himself, he can't. He was too strong. Mr. Duck gets punched into the floor. Waspo then tries to make Scuffed Avatar too, but before he can, he is hit with a punch to the head. But before Waspo can be hit one more time, Edward grabs onto his back, and as he says goodbye to everyone, he explodes. African screams, "No!" as this happens. As the smoke clears, Obese Man-Eye is still standing with only smudges and dirt on him. Waspo makes 5 scuffed avatars: Lanky Bones, Vulgar Man, Burned Corpse, John Cena, and The Rock. Lanky Bones runs in at speed close to Super Mexican speed, but his hits miss Obese Man-Eye every time, and he gets hit with a blow to the ribcage, turning Lanky Bones to ash. Vulgar Man and Burned Corpse run in, each throwing punches at Obese Man-Eye, with every hit from the two seeming to make him move a little. But Vulgar Man throws a hit at Obese Man-Eye and gets his arm grabbed and ripped off. Then Obese Man-Eye chops Burned Corpse's head off. African Gaming runs in and hits Obese Man-Eye with a punch to the face, making him move back a little as steam comes off his fist that seemed to be covered in a black iron. Mr. Duck runs in and grows 100 arms and beats on Obese Man-Eye, making Obese Man-Eye rage out and hit the floor, making them both go flying. Mexican runs in and starts to hit Obese Man-Eye, but when Obese Man tries to hit him, he weaves it just by an inch. This makes Obese Man-Eye rage as he jumps into the air and flies at Mexican and grabs him by the face. Obese Man-Eye slams him into the floor. But before Obese Man-Eye could fully stand up after slamming Mexican's head into the ground, John Cena and The Rock jump onto him and start to hit him over and over again. Obese Man-Eye tries to hit John Cena, but The Rock moves him out of the way. But while The Rock did this, Obese Man-Eye grabbed him by the leg and slammed him into the ground, making him turn to ash. And then John Cena starts to hit Obese Man-Eye in the chest, but he just stands there with his arms out, and with a clap, he crushes his skull, turning him to ash. Waspo then makes Rambo's mane, David's mane, and Sir Alan, as African runs at Obese Man-Eye and hits him in the face. But then Obese Man-Eye hits back, but African stands his ground and tanks it. Mr. Duck runs in and slams Obese Man I into the ground with a huge hand. And when Mr. Duck moves his hand up, Mexican flies from the sky, slamming into him and sending shockwaves that make it look like a nuke went off in the real world around the guy thinking of this fight. Obese Man I gets up out of the rubble and says, "Well done, you have shown power that makes even the strongest gods look like ants. For this I will show you true power, for I have yet to even try." Obese Man I starts to power up, making all of the fighters fly back. His power was so great, it destroyed the real world and every world above that. Obese Man I screams 100% power. Obese Man I flies out and kills David's mane, Rambo's mane, and Sir Alan in one hit. He then smacked Waspo into the sky and then hit him down into African, making both of them go flying. He then grabs and crushes Mr. Duck into a ball and throws him at Mexican, going through his left leg. Waspothegreat gets up and says this is not over as he spits out blood. "And how do you think you will stop me?" says Obese Man I. "Me stop you? Don't make me laugh." And Waspo starts to chant, "The world turns dark and then turns into a fast food place. With my power, I will now make Chill Fat Guy, eater of gods." Obese Man I says useless as he hits Chill Fat Guy, but when he hits him, his hand gets stuck in his fat. Then Chill Fat Guy hits him with a punch that sends him flying, but when Chill Fat Guy tries to hit him, Obese Man I again, he hits back as their fists clash. Obese Man I grabs Chill Fat Guy's wrist and then throws him. Obese Man I then runs him down while he is flying back and hits him again, which makes him spit out blood. But then Chill Fat Guy grabs Obese Man I's head and throws him at the ground and then body slams him, but then he turns to ash. Obese Man I had punched through Chill Fat Guy when he was body slamming him. As Obese Man I gets up African runs in and hits him back into the ground and then again. But then Obese Man I moves behind him and hits African into the ground. But then Mexican runs in and hits Obese Man I in the face too fast for Obese Man I to weave. Obese Man I then gets grabbed in a net, which turns out to be Mr. Duck. As African and Mexican hit him, he breaks out and sends both of them flying. African Gaming says we need to find a way to win. Quick Waspo, make your last avatar and send them out to buy us time. I have a way to win. Waspo makes Fat Albert, and he runs out to hit Obese Man I. He then turns to ash. He was able to buy 1 minute. But as Obese Man I turns around to end the lives of the group, he sees a huge flash of light. A guy comes out from the light and says, "I am African Gaming. I have fused with Mr. Duck, Waspo, and Mexican." African teleports in front of Obese Man I and hits him in the head 2 times, then hits his body, then hits his head again, then spin kicks him in the neck, sending Obese Man I flying and spitting out blood. African tries to hit again, but he gets hit with a punch that came out of a black hole behind him. This punch sends African flying at Obese Man I, which hits African in the head with a knee, then chops him in the back, sending African down. Obese Man I then flies at African, and then their fists clash thousands of times. But then it happens. Obese Man I is hit with a punch, then gets hit again. African was outpowering Obese Man I in a brawl. Obese Man I gets mad and hits African with a punch to the head, but African also hits Obese Man I in the head, sending them both flying. Obese Man I says, "I will not lose to anyone." As he starts to blink, sending blast at African, but he also sends blast back. Obese Man I then says that he will end this as he jumps into the air and screams. Obese Man I stare 100% power. As he sends out the move, African says, "Then I will go all out too." He charges up his final move, the BLM punch, 200%. As his fist clashes with the blast, he flies through the blast and then punches a hole into Obese Man I, killing him. But then Obese Man I turns to ash. As the fighters unfuse, they hear a voice say, "Bravo, fighters, you are the first to ever even handle 0.1% of my power. For that I will not kill you all." As they hear this, the fighters think about what they lost and how they need to be stronger for the next time a fighter of that power shows themselves.